They say the jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes greater than a master of one. For some reason, I didn't make that up, but for some reason, every time you hear that quote, they leave out the last line. And then they've assigned this thing where they've called handyman the jack of all trades, which is supposed to have a negative connotation. And at the time when that phrase was made, it was delivered as a compliment to Shakespeare. But somehow we've taken it and we've taken it down. The jack of all trades is equivalent to a handyman, which is just a guy who doesn't really know what they're doing, kind of pieces things together. They'll do anything for $1, and that's not actually the case. There's a lot of this is actually a true profession that has an absolute high value to it. And I'm going to explain it to you while you watch me do some handyman work. All right? Let's go. Daryl, also known as the finisher. First, I guess we got to start this discussion off to figure out what is a handyman. What exactly is a handyman? The way I see it, a handyman is really just a contractor, right? The difference is between him and a regular general contractor is that the general contractor gets subcontractors and they contract all the work out, or most of the work out. A handyman is a contractor, but he contracts all the work to himself. So somebody like me, when I go into a job, it might involve everything from framing to drywall, painting, installing doors, so it's carpentry, drywall, painting. It might have some plumbing, electrical. It might have a little bit of everything involved, and I do it all from start to finish, hence the finisher. And matter of fact, the finisher is not a pretty little moniker I made for YouTube. Oh no, finisher is a business that I started that the whole premise of it was me, I hate to say it, but coming behind other people. But it wasn't always contractors. Sometimes it was the homeowner or just whoever started it, I would finish. Or if I started it, I did it to completion, hence the finisher. So I understand that the idea of a handyman being a negative thing is just not the case. I've come behind everybody. I've come behind everybody in any profession that you could think of. Even professions that I really don't do, like concrete. I've guys who do masonry. I don't do that, but I've come behind people and done things to improve on the job that they did, or had to compensate for jobs that people did. Now, this idea that a hack and a handyman are one and the same is just absurd. Most guys that are handymen, that are professional handymen, are guys that have acquired the skills over years and years and years. Or somebody like me who was extremely dedicated to acquiring the skills that I practiced, and and I took jobs for way less than I should have, but I took them to make sure I got them to get more reps in. I got very good. And so I see it's just the idea that where the handyman, there's no certification, there's no school, there's no class. So to me, building your skills as a handyman is something that you do. It's like a labor of love. It's something that you do out of love. So most guys that are handymen love this work. I mean, I love the results. I mean, when you walk into a project and then you walk out and that whole thing is complete, you built a pantry or a closet system, even just a simple drywall repair. I mean, it's just so appreciated by the customer. And not only that, it's just the other things that are involved in communication and everything that's involved. I mean, it doesn't get much more high value than that. Now, I respect all the trades. I feel like there's a place and time for everybody. When I would think a customer would be crazy, and I tell them, if you call me for certain things, I say, look, I'd much rather you call an electrician to take care of something like that. Even if it's just for liability purposes, it might be something I know how to do. But just for liability purposes, I would suggest that they call an electrician or call a plumber or an HVAC guy or somebody else. Even a painter, even for something like painting, that might not require certification, but I think that painters, there's certain jobs that they do that it's just, if you do this stuff all the time, you're going to be better suited to do it. So this is not a knock on other professions. doesn't have to be. Just because I'm giving Handyman the credit that they deserve, out here, doesn't mean other people got to feel some sort of way about it. So it's building your skills. Is the idea of the one-man shop. You see this job right here that I'm doing. It's a ceiling drywall repair that had water damage, and I've done many of them. But when I started, I had no desire to do drywall repairs. None. I just got so many of them that kept coming up that it was just like I'd be crazy not to do them, not to perfect the skill of drywall repair. So I did it, and guess what? I mean, in my area, if you put drywall repair in, I come up first in Google. It wasn't even something that I tried to do. It's just something that happened. So, like I said, all these things put together, there's no way you're gonna tell me that that's not high value. You can go to one person and get things done. Look, I got a big family. It's also about security. My customers get to know me, and I go from a lot of times both people wanting to be there with me to them giving me the key code, and when they're on vacation, they just they say, hey, want me to just get in there and get it done while they're out of town. So, and it's one guy versus having different people and new guys, different guys coming through your house. There's something to it. There's a high value to that. And a lot of guys are out here selling themselves short. So I know people want to know, where do you get the experience from? Well, there's only a few ways you can get it. That's either, if you got a house, you can work on your house. That's where you can start. And don't get out there once you start, try to go with the things that you know how to do. You don't have to do everything. There's no law being a handyman saying you have to be a remodel specialist. Like, you can literally start out, and man, if I could do it all over again, like doing this, maybe I might just start out just doing furniture assembly. Just having an assembly service. But you can start with things like that, and then start to be around stuff, build your skills up, practice at your house. If you don't have a place to practice, you might have to get a job doing this kind of work somewhere before you go out and do it. You might have to, maybe a restoration company or something like that. Who knows? Or a maintenance company. But you might have to get out there and get a job before you start your business as a handyman. Because what you don't want to do is get out there and just start doing hot garbage work. After starting this business, I had many different things that I tried. I tried to work as a subcontractor. I worked with property management companies. I worked on commercial property. Like, there's companies out here where they do all the subways or something like that. They manage all the subway properties. They'll call you, and they have all these rules and all these things that you need to go by. But I did that for a good chunk of time. It just didn't work out for me. I work for realtors. You got to have a nice war chest if you're going to do any of these jobs, though, because a lot of times, it's net 60, net 90. One company I was a net 90. It's like, come on. It's like, you got to have a serious war chest, money stacked up in order to work with a net 90 company. So just be aware of that. But I did find in the end that I just work best just by myself, just going and getting my own customers, and and just going that route. And I've had really good success doing it. But I saw the principles of what I call Handyman 2.0. And what that is, and that's how you're going to make real money. It's not about who does the prettiest work all the time, because sometimes you just got to let go of that. It's not always going to matter. A lot of times it's going to matter. A lot of the work, if you're doing the work that people see when you're finished with it, it's definitely going to matter. It doesn't always matter. But it's about who does the best work, the most efficient work. You don't want nobody calling you back saying something's going on. I'm installing these lights right here. I don't want somebody to call me back because the light went out and I just didn't do it right. Right? So Handyman 2.0 is about, it's just the next level. It's, you want to set your skills, set yourself apart from everybody else. So and the way you're going to do that is, like I said, to keep building your skills. And then you can make good money. I mean, because as far as I see, why would I install these lights for any cheaper than an electrician would if you're going to expect the same results from me as you would an electrician? There's no reason for me to unclog this sink right here and run a snake and do it for less than a plumber would charge. That would just be crazy. You know, a lot of times people have that feeling that because they're a handyman, they have to charge less than what another profession would charge. And to me, that's insane. We doing the same work? The customer doesn't have less expectations. If I install a ceiling fan, then people want the ceiling fan installed right. They don't want the ceiling fan installed the handyman way versus the electrician way. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm gonna install it and it's gonna wobble and they're gonna be okay with that because you're a handyman, so you know you got paid less. No, they want the same results, so I need the same pay for the same results. So I don't believe in that thing of you know it's gonna be less for me to do it. All right, so understand that you are a high value profession. This is a high value trade right here. And being one guy, one person, or a small 1 to 2 man operation that can build a whole deck or just like, you know, do all the repairs in somebody's house and do the upgrades all and they got to make one phone call. Man, if that ain't high value, I don't know what is. So like, comment, subscribe, stay safe, and be blessed.